Decided to pay a visit to my old stomping grounds at Crystal Lake. Brought my camera out here to document my return to this supposedly haunted area, if you believe the ghost stories. Well, let me tell ya, I ain't afraid of no ghost. What is up, everybody? Welcome to a special episode of Real Horror. Tensa here on this lovely Friday the 13th to talk about what I consider one of the greatest fan films ever made, Never Hike Alone. As most of you know, we have not gotten a new Friday the 13th movie in almost 12 years. There were several sequels that were planned since the 2009 reboot, including a Jason TV series, but none of them ever came to be. There's also the seemingly never-ending court battles between director and screenwriter of the original, Sean Cunningham and Victor Miller, who have been fighting over rights and money royalties. While they bicker over all that, the franchise has essentially been dormant. However, a few years ago, filmmaker Vince DiSanti took it upon himself to create something that would fill the void in Friday the 13th fans' hearts.
When I moved out to Los Angeles about 10 years ago, if you had asked me on day one what I wanted to do, I would have told you I wanted to work on a Friday the 13th film. After about, I want to say 6 or 7 years of working in that side of the industry, I started to get the itch to start to pursue making a horror film. Yeah, Friday the 13th just made sense to me, and I wanted to do my own fan film. And I just didn't know how to do it at the time.
Vince assembled himself a crew of fellow friends and filmmakers who were fans of the series as well, put together a crowdfund, and was able to create his idea for a Jason film. He worked as director, writer, producer, and star as the main man himself, Jason Voorhees. His story would involve a vlogger/hiker, Kyle, played by friend Andrew Lady, unknowingly stumbling into Camp Crystal Lake and trespassing on Jason's territory. I believe Vince has said this takes place canonically after Jason Takes Manhattan, ignoring anything that came after that. Smart choice, Vince. So why have I decided to talk about this fan-made film? Let's take a look. The movie begins with Kyle, a wilderness expert, venturing out into Wessex County forest to make a video for his followers. One high-octane montage of Kyle running in the woods to reach his destination later, he sets up camp for the night. Have to point out here that 5 minutes in, and I already appreciate how well the cinematography and music are. I mentioned it in my Never Hike in the Snow review, but the way Vince has his films shot are gorgeous and crisp, looking better than some Hollywood horror films. He's making the most of his equipment and California environment as he gets amazing shots of the forest. The music over the credits is also pretty creepy and complements the shots. That night, Kyle records himself explaining how to use a trusty collapsible shovel, but in a relatable moment flubs his lines.
Here we go. Sell this fucker. Hey, what's up, trail junkies? This week, fuck me!
Love it, because this has legit been me recording at times, minus being in a tent outside. The next morning, Kyle continues his hike and comes across a no trespassing sign, but the trail could help cut his time.
I could probably cut through and catch back up with one of the trails on the other side of the lake.
Despite his anxiety, he crosses the sign. We get some great Jason POV shots that feel extremely reminiscent of Part 2 as Kyle climbs to the top of a rock that reveals he reached the southern part of the lake. While collecting firewood, he makes an exciting discovery. Such a great reveal and good-looking prop that just screams Friday the 13th. Intrigued by his find, Kyle does some exploring and investigates the cabins where he comes across the first of several numbered ribbons. These are definitely references to the Pamela murder crime scenes from Part 1, as this is where Marcy was killed. Kyle finally comes upon the camp dining hall that includes some great props, including this scary accurate Crystal Lake sign and some hidden hockey masks. After finding a dead animal in the fireplace and disposing of it, he spots another eerily placed ribbon. He then takes the time to explain the legend of Camp Crystal Lake, Pamela Voorhees, and the return of her son Jason. He blows it off as a nonsensical ghost story and adds that he isn't afraid of some ghost. You will be, Kyle. You will be. He takes it upon himself to check out some more buildings and ventures to the top of one that has a special door.
Just a door to nowhere. You don't see these every day. Back in the day, they used to use these to lift heavy shit on the second floor. Nowadays, just looks like an easy way to break your neck if you don't watch your step.
If I'm not mistaken, this has to be a reference to the barn door from Part 3. Kyle's right, it's an easy way to break your neck. Just ask Jason. He continues to find interesting little things, including a birthday card simply from Mother. But some flies and an odd smell direct his attention to Pamela's decapitated head. Kyle somehow manages to survive and make an attempt to escape his attacker, but it's too late. Epic. Awesome reveal after keeping Jason out of focus and sight for so long. Worth the wait because the new design is excellent. Dubbed Ghost Jason, I love the new unique mask, and his outfit reminds me of a blend of parts 3 and 4 human Jason mixed with part 6's zombie Jason. Way to mix things up with a positive result. Jason and Kyle fight for a bit, but Kyle's able to book it out of there even after that fall. Unfortunately, in the chase through the forest, he accidentally trips over the no trespassing sign from earlier that had some nasty barbed wire cutting open his leg. With Jason not far behind, Kyle tries to hide, but finds himself nearly caught until he frees himself from Jason's grip. As night falls, he records himself warning anyone that may find his footage that the legends of Jason are true. However, he remembers his gear is back at the cabin, so his determined ass makes a commitment to retrieve it. Luckily, he sneaks back in undetected and fixes up his leg wound, but Jason is hot on his trail. Good jump scare. You earned that one. Another intense fight breaks out, showing off not only Jason's raw strength, but Kyle's tenacity as he escapes again. But he's cut off outside and the confrontation continues. I really think the fight choreography is great throughout too. A lot of punches, hits, throws, and slices being doled out. It's cool to see someone ably stand up to Jason with his bare hands and a couple of handy weapons. After losing his collapsible shovel, the only thing Kyle can use is a rock to the face. Cool makeup that's not completely shown off, but the shadows manage to reveal and hide enough to make Jason look creepy as hell. Kyle's last stand comes as he finds all his gear and Jason's axe from earlier. However, a sneak attack leads to both getting a massive hit on the other. Spewing dark blood, Jason goes down with an axe in his neck while Kyle deals with a machete to his side that hit, but his camping guidebook in his pocket helped reduce the damage. Dude, you were the luckiest son of a bitch in Friday the 13th history. But as he goes to leave, one cool fade edit later, we see Kyle running all night until he comes across the lake in the morning. Only problem? He spots another damn murder ribbon. Holy fuck! Morbidly enough, this is probably my favorite scene. 1, it's still being shot beautifully at the early dawn by the lake. 2, the jump scare is perfect. Reminds you of the ones from parts 1 through 3. 3, this kill is insane. The gore effects are awesome, and it's capped off with that skull crush sound effect. And finally, that shock of thinking our main character was just taken out. It does turn out to be a dream, but fuck, I remember watching it for the first time thinking I just witnessed the death of a character I truly gave a shit about. In a Friday movie, you want to see the bloodshed, but here, I want Kyle to make it out. His lucky streak continues as he's awake in an ambulance being attended to by Denny and Axel. Looks like he's gonna be just fine.
Can you tell us what happened out there? What's the last thing you remember?
Do you have any pain in your neck or gas?
Love that great editing trick reveal. Kyle has a dream freak out causing distress in the back, alerting the paramedic driver.
What the hell is going on back here?
It's fine, Tommy. It's under control.
Are you sure? Didn't sound like it a second ago.
Yay! Tom Matthews returns to reprise his Tommy Jarvis role. Such a treat for franchise fans, and had to have been a thrill for Vince to acquire him for his film.
But Vince and I started talking, and we figured out a way where Tommy Jarvis could come back as the character.
We ended up scheduling a meeting. I ended up getting a lunch with Tom probably about a week later, and I sat down in this little restaurant and said, hey, this is basically my idea for this film. And if you can play a role in it, I think that would just blow everyone's mind.
I was excited to get back into the character. I've always felt that Tommy felt it was that Jason was still lurking out there.
After Denny tells Tommy about the potential of someone else being out in the woods, he radios for backup but is attacked off-screen. Axel goes to help, only to be met with an axe to the gut, and Denny is grabbed and killed off-screen. The real Jason stands before Kyle ready to finish him off for good.
Hey, maggot head! Remember me, asshole? Hang on, kid!
Ending with Jason walking right into absolutely necessary sequels to this. My overall thoughts on Never Hike Alone. It is absolutely the best fan film I've ever seen. I grew up making little homemade fan films and scary movies, so seeing someone who has the talent and passion for my favorite franchise pull off one of the best looking and interesting fan films out there is amazing. Vince and everyone over at Womp Stomp Films put together a fun thrill ride for hardcore and casual fans of the Friday the 13th series. It builds an engaging story with just one human character fighting a supernatural enemy. Even as a slasher fan, you don't find yourself caring that the only actual deaths come at the tail end of the film, because everything that comes before it is intriguing and exciting enough to make you disregard the lack of a body count. Kyle is a fun, relatable dude who you want to see make it out of the predicament he's gotten himself into. His determination to live makes him even more likable, and by the end you feel sorry for him, since the events are going to have everlasting effects on his psyche, as shown by the dream sequences he had at the end. Jason is an absolute monster with such intimidating performances from Vince and his double, Brian Forrest. The new design, his presence, and ferocity honestly make for one of my favorite incarnations of the character. And of course, I get all giddy when Tommy Jarvis shows up, played by my favorite of the three actors that portrayed him, Tom Matthews. The callbacks to previous films were well done, as they didn't hit you over the head with them like something like Halloween 2018 did, but they were snuck in rather cleverly. And of course, it's shot and scored so damn wonderfully. I mentioned both at the beginning being great, but the high level of each is maintained magnificently throughout. Both are sure as shit better than how they were done in the 2009 reboot. I think the only small complaints I have are that I think Jason's footsteps are too exaggerated. He is a big guy, but the sound effects make him sound like a titan. And while I thought Andrew's performance as Kyle was perfect, I wasn't too keen on the two paramedics at the end. They're only around briefly, but I felt they were lacking compared to Andrew's performance as Kyle. Vince does have 3 more sequels planned and already released the prequel Never Hike in the Snow. I for one cannot wait to see more from him and Womp Stomp Films, because they gave us the best Friday the 13th anything since Jason Lives, in my opinion. I consider it more canon than anything New Line has produced. Vince definitely seems to have things planned out in a way that extends the Friday mythology, and I enjoy the amount of passion he has for the series. If the rights ever get settled, I absolutely hope they see his work and give him the reins to create a full-length feature Friday the 13th movie. And not just one, but many more. My dream has always been to work on a Friday the 13th film, so Vince, if you ever need a guy just to get coffee on set, give me a call. I did go to film school. Alright, I'll stop jerking him off here. For a fan film, this is shot insanely well, has a great main character, an awesome Jason, some good gore and makeup, and can be very tense and scary. I give Never Hike Alone 4.5 axes out of 5. But let me know what you guys think. If you'd like to watch the entire movie, it's free to watch here on YouTube. You can find it in the link below. Don't forget to subscribe and follow my Twitter and Instagram. Links to those are in the description. Next week, I'll be returning to Top 10s with my favorite horror films of the 1980s. Until then, peace.